All right, with the budget so much in focus, everyone is thinking of ways to invest with so much targeted stimulus expected. But with the stimulus comes giant debt and potentially exhausted monetary policy. So where should you be investing? To discuss, Paul Ashworth, CIO at Cameron Harrison, is joining us now live from Melbourne. Wow, that all painted a very negative picture. Tell us your current gut feel or informed view when it comes to where these markets are heading.
Sure. Well, I think with the budget tomorrow, discussions in the US in terms of negotiations, in terms of fiscal stimulus, that's the focus for markets, equity markets, and also bond markets, over the course of the next 6 months, but frankly longer. We've long spoken about the exhausted path of monetary policy, and it's now fiscal policy and fiscal stimulus. We know from past crises, the failure of recovery solely rests in fiscal stimulus being insufficient or being pulled early. Yes, we've got the budget tomorrow. In Australia, I think that's fairly assured. It's a bipartisan support for fiscal stimulus, and you mentioned debt. Debt's the problem for 5 and 10, but 15 years down the track, it's today about providing that stimulus, providing the jobs, providing the income, providing the consumption, and of course, providing the growth. And as your previous speaker said, ensuring that we don't get in that Japan-like funk.
Yes, the Japanification of the economy is not what we're looking for. So, Paul, we know that the government's going to be putting a deficit out there in excess of $200 billion for the next, or the current financial year, I should say. One reason for that is going to be a big ramp up in infrastructure spend. Do you think that's been fully appreciated by the market, or do you think there's still room to go and don't see upside in industrials moving forward from that?
Look, I think we're in the early stages, of markets and investors, both here and we're key investors in the UK equity market and the US equity market. So yes, I do think it's been underappreciated. It's certainly falling into part of the narrative. But we're still talking about technology, and the structure of the market is the big influences on the market. So those well-run industrials, and really what we call the smart industrials, not the old world industrials. The smart industrials are only just coming into focus.
So what is a smart industrial? Are those that are leveraged to, some sort of green economy going forward? I'm curious to get what exactly that is.
Sure. So, a smart industrial, for us, is a business. It's good fundamental dynamics. Is a leader in its particular marketplace. It could be one or two. In its particular industry. It's got razor sharp focus, but it's bringing technology. It's bringing productivity improvement. You're showing a business down there like Reliance Worldwide. You've got a very different approach to plumbing. Its product technology is great. We look at a business like Croda International, a smart industrial business in terms of additives, across food manufacturing, across the agricultural space in terms of industrial additives. Clearly in the industrial sphere. But very clever, very smart, but very good razor focuses. And they're producing solid earnings growth. That we look at forward EPS for these businesses and it's 10% plus without any great stretch in being able to achieve them. So yeah, they're being not looked at.
And Paul, are there more opportunities in that space offshore than here in Australia? And where do you look specifically?
Well, I think yes, there are more opportunities offshore. There are quite reasonable opportunities in the Australian market in terms of our Australian equity strategy. But we've got to bear in mind size of market, structure of market here. The UK. If we look at the positions that we're invested in there, whether it's the Crodas or the Helmers, the Megats, Polypipes. They've got a big market. They've got their own market. They've got the European market, and increasingly they're doing very well in the US market. Whereas those opportunities are in Australia are not as abundant. But the Reliance Worldwide's are good examples of that. But because they are offshore, different to the UK and US, it's hard to get them into focus.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned the UK there. We obviously have a lot of geopolitics going on there right now. But is the UK fundamentally still a sound geography to get some of this smart industrial exposures in?
Yeah, I think so. When we talk about earlier about fiscal policy, being central to to economic performance, particularly over the next 3 years. Yes, I think it's fairly assured in Australia, but I think you can see that it's fairly assured in the UK. And again, they've got bipartisan support in terms of their political system. We think the UK market, it's pretty, we would probably be 2/3 exposed to what we call smart industrial in the UK. In local currencies returns, for the last 12 months to end of September, it's returned 7%. We've got conservative EPS uplift figures of between 10 and 15% for the UK market. So yeah, we do see good opportunity in those well-run. They're modestly geared businesses, with fairly assured earnings profiles.
Paul Ashworth, Cameron Harrison, Chief Investment Officer, thank you so much for your time today and enjoy your afternoon.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys.